What is the first thing that sparked your interest in automation?
It's not a one day. Okay, it started since I was a childhood. Okay, my grandfather has a big industry. They're producing the motors, the windings and everything. So all my childhood went to the factory, not on the ground or anywhere.
You said you had to go through a lot of family pressure, and during that time, you had to face a lot of challenges, of course. So, how did you overcome those challenges?
Yeah, I think the first was, of course, is a social pressure. Why I come back? Okay, because when the people go abroad after leaving India, come back is as a social, it's a shame. Actually, my passion helped me to hold that whole pressure. Okay, because I know what I'm doing.
So, you had a lot of learning and unlearning during your life when you were in Europe and you had to come back to India. So, what would the one advice that you give to the people who are going through the same phase?
I think it's important you should be flexible in the life. Okay, today I'm eating at, let's say, JW Marriott. Tomorrow you can eat at Vada Pav on the roadside. It's okay. If you don't do that, then it's like, then you are stubborn, then you will not grow.
So, every leader has a guiding principle. What is the one principle that you always stand by?
Be honest with yourself, with everyone.
So, you have made some really bold choices during all these years. What would you say is the biggest risk that you have taken in your career? So, in your early days, you were one of the first employees at a company and you used to share a cabin with the MD in a 5x5 cabin. How tough were those days for you? Welcome to Industry Voice, a podcast where we cover real stories, insights, and journeys of industry expert. From a curious student to a visionary leader shaping India's automation future, our guest has truly walked an incredible journey. Upendra Vanarase, Managing Director of Trio Motion Technology India, brings decades of global experience and a passion for innovations that transforms industries. Welcome to Industry Voice.
Thank you.
Upendra, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Your journey started far from where you are today. Before we deep dive, what is the first thing that sparked your interest in automation?
Okay, I think it's not a one day. Okay, it started since I was a childhood. Okay, my grandfather has a big industry. They're producing the motors, the windings and everything. So all my childhood went to the factory, not on the ground or anywhere. So okay, that comes into the, in the blood or whatever environment around me. So that's the passion of this automation, electronics, whatever. It's from the childhood.
Okay. And what was the most memorable part of that journey?
Okay, I did engineering, then I found some job, and journey started, and I was doing, as an average engineer, but of course, because of the passion, it makes me different from the other people. And first time when I went out of India, where in the South Korea, where the language is the big problem, and I was not knowing what's going around me, but that was a job assigned for me to finish some part of application. And over there, it was very difficult for me to understand the specification. Even if I do something, is it right, wrong, or whatever? So it was very difficult. And also another shock was the food, because I didn't have to use that kind of food in the life, but I think I ate everything except human. Okay. So okay, but that taught me a lot, and but it was good experience, which make me feel like I can fly globally.
Yeah. So you have made some really bold choices during all these years.
Yeah.
What would you say is the biggest risk that you have taken in your career?
Trio is the biggest risk because risks has to come with some payouts.
Yeah.
Okay, and actually I was very comfortable in Germany. Everything was fine, good salary, everything was good. But because of some family pressure to come back, and that pressure forced me to take some decision, and I took decision to uh, work with Trio, where the Trio was the high-end motion expert worldwide, and India was not prepared at that time to take that challenge. And at that time, only Trio has a controller, no drives, no motor, no HMI, no products. So even some people say now, I think he did suicide. That was a real statement, official, that he did suicide in his career. So that was a part of this thing.
You said you had to go through a lot of family pressure, and during that time, you had to face a lot of challenges, of course. So, how did you overcome those challenges?
Yeah, I think the first was, of course, is a social pressure. Why I came back? Okay, because when the people go abroad after leaving India, come back is a as a social, it's a shame.
Yeah.
It's a shame, and putting a lot of social comments, like suicide or whatever, this thing. Uh, Actually, my passion helped me to hold that whole pressure. Okay, because I know what I'm doing. Of course, this might not be suitable or comfortable for the society. And so the society means the automation field people. Okay, that is the kind of society. And of course, the passion told me that, okay, you just go ahead, forget it. It took 3 years for me, not 1 or 2, 3 years. Including if I go on the road, it's like chaos on the road, horning, like we have to go for left or right. The habits. And I used to so much of European culture, and then suddenly change of culture, uh, because the customers are different than Europe. The respect was different. Here is like, it's you are one of the person. So, but the passion keeps me in the race, and that's pay out after 15 years.
Yeah. If someone had to Google you 5 years from now, what would the headline be that you want people to read about you?
I think you should think bigger, better, and in a deep level. Okay, um, learn quickly, as quick as possible, and create your own confidence. That is what I can say.
So, you have spent over a decade in Europe working on packaging automation, and your story that you are sharing is a masterclass of resilience and vision. Tell us, how did Europe shape your thinking, and what was the toughest part of bringing that expertise back to India?
Okay, I think I should thanks to Europe, or specific to Germany, which I love it. Okay, um, see, I mean, there is no difference between the European engineer or Indian engineer. Only the main difference, or very small difference, is a attitude, how you commit to the work, okay, and how you execute. And I mean, their focus on the really hard onto the work is they go to the micro level, not on the top of this, and they shape me, because okay, the skills are there, the knowledge was there, but you need to groom into that cultural expertise.
Yeah.
I think they help me a lot to sharpen me. Okay, and it is a good experience to work with these German guys or the Austrian guys.
So, what I can understand, it wasn't easy adjusting in the European culture. How long did it take for you to actually adjust and start your journey?
No, it's not a one-day journey again.
Yeah.
Because I used to visit Austria many times with when I was a BNR, and okay, 1 month, 2 months sometimes, and it was frequent. So to understand that culture and work, it puts me on 7, 8 years, because you have to learn, you have to align, you have to implement, you cannot just go sit, take a class. Okay, just by I know how to speak German doesn't mean that you're expert. Okay, so that's only the language, but what to speak, how to speak, that is important. So for me, I think it took 6 7 years to adopt that knowledge, and they shape me. At the end, it was a peak, but initially it's a long journey. It's not easy. Now I just take a university degree. I just go there and I will be expert. It's not like that. It takes long time.
So you were in Europe and you had already adopted the culture of Europe, and then you had to come back to India. So how did you adapt that culture into Trio?
Yeah, I think it's really challenging, to be honest, and because it's a whole game is a mindset. The game is not about how much engineering knowledge you have, how much expert you are, how expert or how good you are at communication. It's not that. It's the mindset and the attitude. And you can teach the people programming, okay, or driving something, but we cannot teach. So it's we have to sit every day with them, show them how I'm doing. Go with so initially, many people's they told you are the senior person like managing director or the president, and you're going on machine, you're working on machine, and that sets also a negative tone in the market. That means, see, on our company only engineer goes, in Trio MD has to go, so that's not good. So okay, but that was to give a on the job training to the person who how I'm working, because you cannot give 10 slides of PPT and say, okay, no, you do this and all. So we have to sit with him, we have to show the things, and this transfer knowledge of transfer. I think around 10 years from 2010 to till Corona. I think I moved almost all sides of Trio customer with my team, and like the transfer of these skills into them, and I think they're doing well. Since last after Corona, I stopped going almost, no, but I think it took 10 years for me, and that exercise created also negative image of Trio in market, which I ignored.
Yeah.
I think for me it's a good to ignore. Now, why you have to why you think what people are saying? You know what you're doing. That's it. If you're confident of yourself, what you are doing, that is enough. I don't need to take feedback from market. What you're thinking about me?
So you had a lot of learning and unlearning during your life when you were in Europe and you had to come back to India. So what would the one advice that you give to the people who are going through the same phase?
Yeah, I think is important. You should be flexible in the life. Okay, today I'm eating at, let's say, JW Marriott. Tomorrow you can eat at Vada Pav on the roadside. Is okay. We don't need to adopt both the model for longer time. It's not good to eat on the street side long time. Not good to have, that kind. So if you do that quick changeover, even customer want production to be changeover very quick. They want product has to change in a few minutes or few hours. So like you have to do it. If you don't do that, then it's like then you are stubborn. Then you will not grow. Like your body gets stiff. That's it.
Yeah. So, in your early days, you were one of the first employees at a company and you used to share a cabin with the MD in a 5 by 5
Yeah.
cabin. How tough were those days for you?
Actually, it was not tough. It was really funny because at that time I was a young guy and doesn't know. I mean, even at that time, didn't think what's tomorrow. You just have a good day today, and that's it. And that was my natural behavior. So I didn't care, where I'm sitting, why I'm sitting. It's okay. Just do it. That was the thing. Because that moment, I was knowing that it will not come in my life again.
Yeah.
I will not sit my MD and me sitting in a 5 by 5 tomorrow. But this day is not going to come. Just enjoy it.
But during those times, automation and manufacturing in India did not have much momentum. So, was it a challenge for you?
No, there was, I mean, there was not momentum, of course, and also knowledge was less with us because yeah, at that time, okay, we only have the products, but how to use it, that knowledge we didn't have it. So it's quite challenging. That means one of my project in BNR, it took 4 years for me, and of course, a lot of patience from management, of course, from the customer and the sales perspective, because sales guy has to be tough to hold for application which is not done for 4 years. And whenever I visited and come back in these 4 years, I used to feel very bad, and also a feeling that I'm failed in one application. Of course, there was success in other things. So if you say that uh, you know I was successful, but from in my inside I say, I'm not doing well. Okay, but one day it happens, and that was a great moment for everyone, and I think for company also, and they did earned a lot of money on that. So
Yeah.
it's okay.
So, when we talk about the 90s and 20s, when the automation companies were much smaller, how did you convince your family that you want to be part of an automation company? And was it easy?
See, the family has his own perspective, and I think they never put pressure on me. Where at the end they're only saying, okay, 30, how much amount is there in the account? Don't care. You're working for whom? Okay, and I think I never had that pressure. I never had a pressure of brand anytime in my life, because when the Mitsubishi was there, Rockwell was the boss or Siemens was the boss. We used to sit 8 hours to meet customer. BNR, same, where Austria, people say is Australia. So they don't know even the country name in India. They say, "Oh, Australia," and they say, "Oh, it's Austria." So, and same for the trio I mean, very unknown brand in the. So I never took the pressure brand in my life. That is sure. And because this has happened, because it's my passion, and it's my confidence that okay, I will win sooner or later.
So, during the early days of Trio, while it was just being founded, what were the major struggles that you had to face?
It's a big challenge because no one knows who's a trio, and of course mentally I was a bit nervous, or not nervous, I will say a cultural shock.
Yeah.
No, no one is supporting, because people say, okay, you give a more motion control, what about the drives, what about motors? Then I have to speak to people, or and the whole, if you look at the amount, the costing of motion control against the solution, as the motion control cost is a peanuts, it's very small. So um, even if you do some application, the whole business is taken by these guys. So it was like very poor situation for us, and I think in 2014 till it was very bad situation, and it is like the situation has come where I say, okay, now is enough, I should leave the job, because I can't, what is I cannot fight with, because 4 years is long time. But that uh, you know push back to the rock that I can't do anything. From that point, I think I changed my mindset, and of course my colleagues, with team members, and then we decided, okay, to leave the job is easy. You'll get good job, good money, because you have the knowledge. So you will not be jobless even for a day. Okay, but do we have spirit to fight and take again? It's called a risk again. So we collectively decide, okay, we fight back with different strategies, and it work went very well. And now in 25, I thought we are at the right track.
So, You were an employee when you started this
Yeah.
journey. So now, from an employee to managing thousands of employees under you, how tough decisions you had to make during that time?
So first, it's a journey. Okay, it's not like one decision. Too, it's small decision you have to take. And I never in my life uh, aim for managing director. Never. Okay, it just happened because I never targeted that. Okay, that should be my career path. At the age of this, I should be VP at this one. So that ladder I never had. We just go on, I think the success will follow you. This is just a matter of time.
So, have you ever thought that maybe during any time of your life that, okay, you had made a decision and you think that, okay, you have made an impact in the world, your solutions, your robots have really made an impact in the world?
I think we did miss. Of course, there are two things. One is the global and one is the local. So since 2010, of course, my focus was only India, no other country. And in last 15 years, we did whatever has to be happen in Indian automation industry, very strategically. Sometimes brave decision. Also face a lot of financial crisis because of decisions. But okay, the failure is not because of decision. The failure is because of how you implement, how your team cooperate, how the external situation comes. So the decision was not wrong, but the implementation or execution was a poor, and which was, I would say, is not individual issues. It's like no one knows that kind of thing. So, but I think we did a good impact. And as far as the solution is concerned, not a product, okay, not a product, solution is concerned, we are a good trendsetter, that I will say, in the market.
So, you mentioned about innovations and how you had to make some tough decisions about bringing innovation in India. What were the positive impacts and the hurdles that you had to face during that period?
Yeah, I think the first thing, of course, we thought of robots in 2015. Okay, we did good journey with Tata, uh, did some good robots, and now we are the member of Eastern Group. So Eastern Group has almost 87 types of robots, different type. Okay, when it comes to the Indian uh, market, and specifically to the FMCG with pharma and food and pharma and beverage, the thing is, you cannot, many times you cannot have a standard robots to finish the application. And also the cost, because cost is very important in Indian market. So we also develop our own arms, okay, which is economical. Of course, we made it here in Pune. Of course, initially there was a quality issues. It took some time to have that kind of quality after some failures, of course, and that failure cost me in money. So it's big losses. So always the accountant comes and say, wrong decision, and I have to listen, because I cannot say, cannot explain them that I know you are in financial problems because of my decisions, okay, but it will get paid off, and there is no deadline because you don't know how the market. But I think after 2 or 3 years, now it is settled down, and we sold I think 2 digits of robots in that category and running nicely. But of course, it takes 3-4 years of losses.
Yeah.
Okay, but at the end is good. So we have global robots, which is typical robots, and we have Indian-made customized robot. And this customized robot is, of course, the economical one, and that helps to finish the application. That's a challenge, and that means that is an achievement, I would say.
So, share a moment with us that really tested you and also made you proud at the same time.
And there's not single moment, multiple. I mean, it's not you cannot. It's a whole life. Every I think maybe every month I'll get some pain and some smile. This thing. I think there's no unique answer. It's maybe thousands of moments, which I also don't remember many times. So when I was young, of course, there is a beer to chase, but okay. But nowadays, of course, I'm a father of two, and so it's of course the change of your behavior, which comes naturally. So I mean, at the moment, it's very difficult for me to express. Even it is, I'm happy, I have to keep quiet. Even if I'm crying, keep quiet because you cannot express now because you're gone through such a big pain in the life, and of course good moment also. So I mean, it's actually nowadays doesn't make any difference. Either you win or loss is okay. You have to play for tomorrow also.
Share a funny moment in your career that if you still think about, you get laughs.
I think it's not. I mean, it's not about career, but okay. There is one incident in. I was on site, and there was the new employee had joined, and also the previous one. So we three was sitting together, and that guy was vegetarian guy. Okay, and we were on machines, and we had stress and everything. And while eating, it was soya chunk that that was. So that guy was just recently joined, typical vegetarian, hardcore vegetarian, and I just had a soya chunk, and in my mind I thought, oh, this. I just bluntly say, it's a very nice chicken. Okay. And that guy is really here to eat that chunk, and he just throw away the chunk. And he was like shocked, it's a chicken, I can't. Then it took me a long time to convince him this is not a chicken, this is a soya chunk. So I mean, this has to be there in the, you're doing commissioning, all stress, and is okay, and it comes naturally. It is not like targeted or something. But that moment, I think whole company remember. So whenever there's soya chunk, this guy say chicken. Okay, that was a funny moment. Yeah.
Yeah. So every leader has a guiding principle. What is the one principle that you always stand by?
I mean, be honest. That's it. Be honest with yourself, with everyone. That's important.
So, if you had 1 minute and you had to teach something to the young professionals, maybe a trick or a tip that you always follow by, what would that be?
I think first thing, just ignore the social pressure.
Yeah.
Don't fall in trap of society milestones, and just do your work as honestly as you can, and do the work which is your passion. Don't do the work which is you don't have passion. Even you are getting a lot of money, a lot of social respect, don't do that.
Yeah. So, if you had a power to change one thing in the automation industry, what would that be and why?
This question, I would say, is a wrong question because, see, no one has power to do anything.
Yeah.
Okay, it's only the market has a power to change your products, your way of working, your innovation, your team, how it should be. So I think it's a market power, not a individual power.
So, before we wrap up this session, what is the one advice that you would give to a young professional that is stepping in the automation industry?
I think it's not advice, but I think if they have passion, they just come, and I'm sure nowadays the compensation what they get with respect to other market is grown up. Of course, is not same as IT, but I think is nearby IT. If you work longer, in the same field, I think you will earn more than IT. So I think, but of course, you should have passion, and you have willingness to do hard work. Hard work means not number of hours, but hard work means making your hand black, go here, go there. Might be in the factories, you will not find any toilets, you will not find good food, not air conditioned. So it's a tough life. So like a soldier, if you are ready to accept that tough life, money will follow you definitely. Okay, but passion, tough life, money will follow you. So it's a good, and also you have like no one will fire you because it's not like IT. You will not be redundant. Okay, so you're actually securing your job if you're doing the job. Okay, so I think it's good.
Upendra, your journey is really an inspiration to anyone who dreams hard and wants to work hard. And thank you for sharing all your life lessons and your journey with us.
Okay. Thank you, Passion Nine.